Here's what nobody tells you about starting a life at 30, 40, 50, 60. It's not a crisis. It's not a midlife crisis. It's not a breakdown, and it's not so brave. It is actually a necessity of identity development. Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a psychologist, an expat, a mother, and I like to think about why people make the choices they make, and I make these videos for the people that are in the middle of one. So, when we think about these moments in which we are starting over, many times there's the association that, okay, you're probably starting over, you're probably a bit lost where you are. And this is the wrong approach, because actually there's a word for this state in which many of us are. It comes from the Latin limen, which means threshold, and it's the word liminal. And this has to do with when you are kind of in between identities. You're not who you used to be anymore, but you're not there yet. You're not yet who you are about to become. So this in-between moment would be what we called a liminal phase. And these transitions don't really happen smoothly, slowly. Usually they are much more disruptive than that. It's more of a feeling of wrongness, a feeling of disconnection, as if the life that you have been living for so many years suddenly doesn't fit anymore. Like a jacket that doesn't fit anymore. There's nothing wrong with a jacket, but it just doesn't fit. Why? Because you have changed. Research shows, and my personal experience with my clients and with myself shows, I have been in this stage for many times. I have moved countries. I have put myself in situations where I was very a beginner at, and many times I felt like I was starting over, and these moments are never really comfortable. And when you feel like this disconnection and this wrongness, this is actually your psyche trying to make the conditions for you to be able to let go of who you used to be in order to give space to who you are becoming. And so this discomfort is really actually a good sign. Instead of interpreting it as a loss or as a wrongness with oneself, one can really see that it's actually a sign of growth. That's always when the biggest growth happens. It is through these moments of challenge and transformation. So if you are in this kind of stage in which you feel like you don't really fit with your old life anymore, and yet you don't really see yourself fitting in a new life yet, if you are in this in-between stage, I would really encourage you to not read it as you being lost, to not resist this moment and try to kind of rush back to who you used to be, or to try to push forward to who you want to become, but to actually embrace this moment as a very special time, a liminal time in which, if you embrace it, you can really make the best of it in terms of providing the best conditions for a transformational growth. And I'm curious, are you in a stage like that in which you feel like there's an identity behind you and there's an identity in front of you, and that you feel a little bit in between? If so, I would love to hear in the comments. Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.